We cover many serious issues in this podcast. This discussion may contain reference to domestic violence, sexual violence, violence against children, suicide, drug use, or graphic depictions of death or dead bodies. It is not suitable for all audiences.
Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries Rewind, two friends get together to discuss episodes of their favorite television show, Unsolved Mysteries. Will they find answers? Will anyone care? You may be able to solve a mystery.
You are listening to Unsolved Mysteries Rewind. My name is Kim, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well, Kim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. This is an interesting episode, and there's a whole lot to get to.
Yeah, there's a lot of history.
A lot. Yeah, we're talking about Season 4, Episode 8, which originally aired November 6th, 1991.
I believe it was a cool day. I was getting ready for the coming of Thanksgiving. I was eating my last bit of candy from Halloween. I was 18, so I shouldn't have had candy.
Sounds lovely. Well, it was not so lovely for a woman who we will call Sharon Johnson. Sharon Johnson is born 11 years after the attack on Pearl Harbor, but one day she decides to go to a hypnotist to try and lose weight. I guess what he would do is say, we're going to hypnotize you. Let's go back to your childhood when all these like bad eating habits were first ingrained with you. And she remembered from her childhood that she had like horrific nightmares about boats and smoke and water. And so he's like, let's run with that. And it turns out that she is basically the reincarnated spirit of a man named John Gillespie, and that he died on the Pearl Harbor attacks.
Right.
I don't know.
Now, I do want to just talk about for just a moment this movement in the early 90s, which you would not have remembered, is way before your time, where they had there was a psychological movement to do anything. You could quit smoking through hypnosis. You could lose weight. You can do all of these type of things. And I think we might have even talked about it in a previous episode, talking about neuro-linguistic programming. And there was this whole amazing thing, and it was really ineffective. It was really a strange thing. I don't know how often you would go to, lose weight. Like I want to lose 20 pounds. And all of a sudden, this other stuff is coming out. I wonder how that happens, because from what I understand, a hypnosis, when somebody's under hypnosis, they won't just randomly talk about things. It needs to be led to a certain topic. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of curious how it seems a little bit weird. There's a lot of things weird about this hypnotherapist, as well as the woman involved, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that Dr. I don't know if he was a doctor, maybe Dr. Frank Baranowski. Sorry. No. We're just going to say that there was no leading the witness, so to speak.
Yeah, and that does come into question a little later. But what I find the most perplexing is that 6 months after she starts having these like reoccurring nightmares and deciding that she was somebody who was on the USS Arizona when it got bombed during Pearl Harbor, she goes on a Hawaiian vacation with her hypnotherapist and his friends.
You heard that right. She went with them. And I have to wonder, was there a relationship? We don't know. I don't know if you know. But also, there are other treatments with these kind of doctors. I know somebody who was afraid of flying. So what part of the treatment was to fly with a group of people who are all afraid of flying, which, of course, to me, just as somebody who hates to fly, I hate to say it sounds a little bit like a sitcom. Because, oh, my God. the amount of tension could be cut with a knife.
Oh my God, that sounds absolutely awful. The last thing I want to do with my flight anxiety is just congeal myself with a bunch of other people with the same kind of anxiety. Like, no, thank you. I need calm energy.
Yeah, and I also heard stories of people who are afraid to use restrooms in public, and we're not saying that these aren't legitimately things that people have fears of. But they have groups where it might be kind of silly to some people, but, fears are fears. And, they literally go together to the bathroom. And it sounds crazy on paper, but it is kind of what it is. And it's a reality out there. So I have to wonder, was this one of these type of things where Dr. Frank would create a trip? It's like, hey, you know what? We're doing a trip. It's only $15,000,
Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense that she's with some like-minded neuroses, but they specifically described it as a vacation with her hypnotherapist and his friends, not like other patients. But anyway, she is in Hawaii, and it's weird because she's like, oh, that hotel never used to be here. Oh, I know my way around town, but she's never been to Hawaii before. So she visited the Pearl Harbor Memorial, which is where you're like standing over the USS Arizona. Because it got sunk, and she was just hit with this wave of anxiety. And apparently, from what I read, that she actually, when she got closer, she kept saying, like, I don't want to die, Sam, I don't want to die. And, oh my God, they're drowning, Sam, oh my God. And Sam is a boy from Omaha, Nebraska, who did perish because of the Pearl Harbor attacks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I found this is the whole reason for this season. This is the reason I picked this episode, was because of this past lives. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, what is your opinion on that? What are your thoughts about past lives? I mean, if you can even put it into words, it's one of those really complicated things.
No, I've been thinking about it a lot lately. So I'm pragmatic. I believe probably 85% of my being that it's not really a thing, but 15% of me that like believes in magic and stuff, like I want it to be a thing. It makes me excited to think about. And I know that they say when you're little is when you're most like in tune with how you died in a past life, because it's like so fresh in your mind. And when I was little, nightly I used to have a nightmare of plummeting to my death in an elevator.
Oh my God.
And that like hit something with me.
Jeez.
I know, it was the worst. Even now when I'm in an elevator and it gives like a little jostle, like it scares me so bad. But I'm like, is that how I died in a past life? Like it's just so exciting to think about.
When I'm in an elevator with my son, what he'll like to do is jump up and down.
Oh,
and I just look at him like, such a dick. Because he knows I hate it.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my God, there's like 5 more floors, But yeah, that's a horrifying, I mean, I couldn't imagine. That type of drop. I don't like roller coasters. I don't like these kind of drops. So what about you? Do you have a fear of those kind of things?
Well, okay. So I kind of tried to do like an immersion therapy thing, exposure therapy, and like expose myself to it. So I went to the Tower of Terror in Disneyland when I lived in California, which is a ride where you are supposed to be in an elevator and you drop like 12 stories to the ground. I believe
it's the Twilight Zone now. But
yeah, it is the Twilight Zone. So I went and I did that, and it scared the bejesus out of me, but I did it like a few times. I don't still have that nightmare, so I guess that's good, but I mean, I don't love elevators.
That's interesting. It's just, I think that maybe those are hints to kind of a past life and, the fears that we have. And
well, what's your stance?
I'm pretty much, I'm in the same camp, but I would say that I'm pretty much 95% sure it's all hooey. Mm-hmm. But that 5%, I'm 100% convinced that it's real. And that's the thing, is the stuff that's unexplained, like this incident, which is more than just being able to read a book, is, to me, 100% accurate. It convinces me that there's something. It's kind of like, do you believe in UFOs? Well, I believe that they're unidentified. I just, and that's exactly what UFO is. Is it something that's unidentified? So yeah, I believe that there's definitely something beyond what we understand, of course. I don't believe that we die and we're like plants and we just perish. I used to believe that, but I think it was more out of not wanting to deal with the bigger idea, maybe. It's kind of a childish stance to just say, well, that's it. You die. It's almost, there's a comfort there, right?
Yeah, and I think that if we didn't have the door open for the possibility of things that we can't explain, we probably wouldn't be doing this podcast. We probably wouldn't be as into Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, what we're trying to do in the show, I think, very often is to, of course, talk about these stories and these events that truly happen, but also kind of understand what the hell's going on with these people in their head. It's very strange, but this is an event. This is a different type of story. There's an inkling to the paranormal, but but it's vetted. There's accuracy in what had happened, what was perceived, and I think that's great.
Yeah, me too. Well, okay, so after she had that freak out on the USS Arizona, she returned to her hotel room and she asked Dr. Frank, to hypnotize her. And he's like, okay, take me, you're being hypnotized. Take me back to when you were a 12-year-old. And what's your name? And she's like, John Gillespie. And he's like, where are you from? And she's like, Omaha, Nebraska. So she is channeling John. Yeah. So they walk John through his life and he begins recounting the events of Pearl Harbor. And it's really cool. So he's just minding his own business, December 7th, doing his thing. And then he's like, oh my God, bombs are dropping. Those aren't our planes. Everything's on fire. And you hear her hypnotized session, and it's so creepy.
Yeah, I'm really happy that they had a recording of the session. I think it's the accurate recording, is it? I mean, I'm assuming.
I don't think so.
Oh, no? Okay.
No, I thought it was the real one.
Oh, no, that's what I mean. Do you think it's the actual recording?
Yeah. I thought you said actor. Yes.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it is. It's chilling, actually, because, when you can you talk to somebody, you're like, yeah, you're full of crap. You can kind of, sometimes you can tell. And with her, there just seemed to be fear and there seemed to be a lot of passion.
Yeah.
And there didn't seem to be any type of, hey, what do you think of that type of attitude?
Exactly. Yeah. And she's like, I got to get a gun. I got to get to a gun. And then all of a sudden it just abruptly ends because that's where we all kind of think John died. Mm-hmm. So adding to the validity of Sharon, and that's not her real name, but she wants to remain anonymous. She actually lists 9 buddies of hers as John that were on the boat with her. And she even gave his Navy serial number. So the hypnotherapist reaches out to his congressman, and the congressman's assistant listens to the tape and goes to the naval archives to see if those people even existed.
Can you imagine this? It's just a weird.
I know.
We're in such a weird period of time in the country, right?
I don't know. People would never do this for you today.
It must have been a real beautifully slow day, Mm-hmm. I mean, it's when did this all take place?
1979. 1979.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much going on. Well, there's a little bit of stuff going on with Iran, but there's, for the most part, he's probably like, yeah, why not? I'll look it up. I'm not doing much of anything. Yeah.
Exactly. So he goes and he actually finds records of 8 of the 9 people that she mentioned that were serving on the ship. And Sharon tells us that John was enlisted, but he was said to have been in Long Beach on the day of Taussig. Okay. So we meet in the reenactment, we meet this general's son, captain's son, Ensig Taussig. And he was not on the list of the boat that day, but Sharon, as John, has Taussig in her memories as getting his leg wounded. So Unsolved Mysteries reaches out to Taussig, and it turns out that he did have to have his leg amputated.
This is where my mind was flipped a little bit. So I was like, yeah, you know what? A lot of this stuff, whatever. Not that big of a deal. But when she started talking about injuries, specific injuries, I don't know. It's more than just luck.
Yeah, and the fact that he actually did have his leg amputated because of Pearl Harbor. He didn't want to come on camera, but that's what Unsolved Mysteries tells us that he told them. So the name John Gillespie doesn't actually appear on any of the ship's rosters. But keep in mind, this thing was getting bombed pretty heavily. And also, in the backup, like, naval warehouse, there was a fire. So a lot of records have been lost to time. Mm-hmm. But what Sharon tells us about John Gillespie is that he was born in 1921. He's from Omaha, Nebraska. He's a junior, so he's son of John Gillespie Sr., and his grandpa's name is Harry. Wow. But he goes by Red.
Red. I love that guy. Yeah. I love the name. Just anybody who's called Red, I love them.
Oh, okay, in your book.
Yeah.
So Frank found census records from 1899, and there was a John Gillespie Sr. who was born to a Harry Gillespie. Mm. So we meet the author of a 1986 book called Practical Guide to Past Life Regression, Florence W. McLean. And she says that she's not really sure about Dr. Frank, that he kind of is known for guiding people a little bit in their hypnosis. She says he doesn't let them drive, like he drives what they remember. And he is a very fast talker. He can't make eye contact. Like, he's darting around all over the place. So he's an interesting character. But they decided to take polygraphs, proving that they're not making anything up. And we all know polygraphs aren't foolproof.
Definitely roll my eyes at them. But
well, I kind of rolled my eyes at at Sugar.
Oh, my God. Can
I know. So
well, I'll tell you off the air, actually. My wife made up a funny nickname for her.
Oh, I can't wait. So Sharon is under hypnosis, and she says that John has a little Hawaiian lover named Sugar, and she drew a composite sketch, or had a composite sketch drawn of Sugar, and we kind of leave Unsolved Mysteries almost looking for Sugar, like, do you recognize this person? Because maybe that'll add validity to the story. And she looks so nondescript, the Sugar, and if this is all real, and I'm buying this 100%, Sugar would be like a nickname, no?
I'm thinking.
Like Baby.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just what I would
I've
think.
never met anyone named Sugar.
Me neither. But they do grow like a lot of sugar in Hawaii, so maybe that's something. I don't know.
So I have a really, really out there theory about all of this.
Hit me with it.
All right. Have you ever looked into the possibility of things that exist in a parallel universe?
Ooh, no, but I love it.
So for people who might not know what a parallel universe is, it's kind of, if you think of our universe in dimensions as being broken up like a cartoon cell, each cell has a different layer, a different reality, a different existence of that particular moment in time. And some people can discuss linear time this way, and some people, it's kind of like looking at something from an X and Y axis. Well, if you can go that way and look at the different aspects of time linearly, then you can also look at things as having a multi versions of it, a multiverse. It's kind of like a popular theory. So anyway, let's just say that is a reality that's very similar to ours right now, and maybe Mark and Kim are doing a podcast, but instead it's about,
America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted, right? And there are slight changes and there are slight differences, and these are, this gets all like, it's a mixture of metaphysics and it's a mixture of actual physics, and the whole aspect of light bending, and there's all of this. There's this guy called Bend Light, I think that's his name, and I have to put a link to that, who I interviewed a long time ago, where he talks about this, and he shows some form of evidence that he feels as though really kind of proves that this is real. And is it possible that sugar is real, but just not in our reality? Maybe she died at birth, or maybe she lived somewhere else, and maybe Gillespie, maybe he died in our dimension, but over there he lived. Is it possible this is a collapse of dimensions on some level? Because that's the way you also describe a lot of paranormal sightings, and a lot of the way we talk about intelligent hauntings, and also, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but basically a projection of a haunting where it's just the caught energy. So it's really where all the dimensions kind of collide, and sometimes there are leaks through. Now, we also know that there was a lot of strange testing going on during World War II. Pearl Harbor was a very strange event, but we know that Nikola Tesla did a lot of very strange things. You can look up the Philadelphia Project, where he, in theory, he tried to make a ship disappear, vanish, right? Now, he was trying to his hope was to make it disappear off of radar. And in theory, what he actually did was he sped up all of the molecules to the point where it physically vanished. And when it came back, it wasn't accurate. It wasn't like all the people were insane or dead. And it was a really kind of a crazy thing. Anyway, this is all conspiratorial. This is all like really out there stuff. But when we're talking about these big events, very dramatic events, and we're talking about her having a remnant of a past that is somewhat accurate, it just makes me think about, why not a parallel universe that this could have happened. It's another timeline, dimension B, people call it all types of things.
Wow, cool. Yeah, no, I had never thought about that. Is it possible? I think absolutely. I think everything's possible. One thing I do know, though, is that on the USS Nevada, which is the ship that John Gillespie was supposedly on, there is no record of him having died. There was 50 men who died during the Pearl Harbor attack, and he is not on that list. And we'll post that list on the Facebook page, Unsolved Mysteries Rewind Podcast. But also, let us know your theories about alternate timelines and stuff like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many theories. It's wonderful. I love the fact that these type of things bring up all of that cool conversation. Because where else can you talk about true crime and alternate dimensions? I don't know too many places, Kim.
Seriously, and aliens and murder. Yeah, seriously.
I think if I hang out in my 7-Eleven long enough, there'll be a guy who walks in who just starts talking about this stuff. But you know what? He smells a little bit. So this, you can just download it. You can listen to it on your commute. And
you can't smell us at all.
And thank you. Lucky stars for that. I am burning, I burn incense in every single episode that I do. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Did I mention that to you? I probably did.
I knew that, yes.
And it's just weird. I go through a decent amount of incense sometimes because I do so much recording for so many different podcasts. So if you burn incense, if you have any type of ritual like that, that's another thing we would love to hear from our listeners about.
Totally.
I don't know.
Anything.
Maybe not. I'm just kidding.
Well, shall we hop a plane over to Littleton, Colorado?
Yeah. Just scroll down here. Well, this is, oh wait, I just totally scrolled. Can you start that story? I don't know. I'm lost.
So we're, November 21st, 1985 with Roger and Doris Jean, aka DJ Dean. They are a, middle-aged, fairly well-off married couple. There's an unfamiliar car parked outside of their home one day with a man who is inside of it. So at 7 a.m., Roger calls his wife from the bathroom into the bedroom. And I would be so mad at my husband for doing what he does. So he goes like, "Hey, babe, come out here." And she's like, "I'm in the tub."
It's like trying to trick your dog into taking a bath.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, no, come here. It's really cool. I got a treat for you. So
in the
his wife, yeah.
But here's another thing. So she's in the bathroom, right? If he was like, run, maybe there's no other way out. Maybe she would, if he has a gun and she tries to run.
I mean, this is my household. I have high expectations that my husband would karate chop, disarm, whatever.
But let me ask you, after seeing this, Kim, did you put a gun in your bathroom?
No, well.
and have a code word?
That's a great point.
The papaya is ready.
Uh-oh, time to go. So he calls her in from the bathroom to the bedroom, and a masked man is there. And he ties her. He orders Roger to tie her up and blindfold her, and the men go into a separate room. So the wife is freaking out. She can hear them talking, but she's not really paying attention to what's being said. So the masked man comes back in. He starts going through the drawers in the bedroom, and he says a loud noise startled him, and he immediately leaves the room. So, and he's like, "How much cash is in your savings?" She's like, I don't know. So Roger's like, "I've got cash in the bank. I got $30,000 cash in the bank.
Don't tell my wife."
Yeah, exactly. So let's just go to the bank together and we'll go get it out. So for some reason, the gunman decides to shoot at Roger, and he I guess he's not going fast enough down the stairs or something, so he shoots the banister, but it kind of nicks Roger's arm, and Roger starts bleeding. Now, at this point, it's a little different from what Unsolved Mysteries tells us, but according to the Colorado newspapers I read, Roger starts running. He attempts to flee after he gets grazed by the bullet. And so the masked guy, shoots him 5 more times. He empties his gun into him. So then he chases a bleeding man out of the house in 7 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. And I don't know. I just thought that would grab some neighbors' attention. But
yeah,
Roger
I would say just shooting alone. I mean, if somebody fires a gun, if it's accurate where they lived and the type of neighborhood, it's a regular suburban thing. People can hear a gunshot being fired across the street.
Yeah, there was kids riding bikes outside and stuff. Apparently, this was very close to a school bus stop.
Interesting.
So there was a couple kids that were witness to this. So the guy takes his mask off and runs into his car and he peels out. So when DJ, the wife, had heard the gunshots, she kind of hopped downstairs and somebody takes her blindfold off. They call the cops, and she sees Roger's body. So when the cops get there, they notice that Roger had only one hand was tied up with twine, and he was wearing contacts. But upstairs, they found that his glasses were covered in duct tape. So the Sergeant Anthony Spurlock, who's actually now the sheriff of Littleton, he posits the idea that Roger hired the bad guy to kidnap him, take him to the bank, withdraw the $30,000, and then drop Roger off safely so Roger could file a claim saying that he had been robbed, and it's a win-win situation. He gets the money.
Oh my God,
so it turns out Roger's kind of an interesting character. He had recently he'd recently embezzled $30,000 from his business and put it into his private account.
Without his wife even knowing.
Without his wife even knowing, allegedly.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a interesting character. Not the squeakiest clean of guys that we've dealt with. So he apparently was an informant for Denver Police Department because he owned a property that was a local prostitution hotspot. So he would feed information about the Johns who were going to get ladies of the night. And so they thought he might have enemies there, but also he was he was having an affair with his secretary, so unoriginal. So he told DJ, his wife, that the affair was over, but he was with his secretary the week he was murdered. Now, apparently the secretary's son was pretty upset about it, and he matches the suspect's description. So as soon as Roger shot, the secretary abruptly left town, and her son have, to this day, not been ruled out by the police.
Wow.
So
the whole thing is so crazy. It's
yeah.
It's very strange because, well, like you were saying about the $30,000. What I'm guessing is, well, for one, you don't go to a bank with somebody and take out $30,000.
No.
So as soon as you walk into the bank, you're like, he's got a gun,
Yeah.
But
unless you're in on it.
Unless you're in on it, yes. But I'm thinking that it just means that he would, how does that work? If he's robbed of $30,000, it's not insured money.
No, I don't think you just get that back.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. If you go to a bank, right, and there's a gunman, and then you're like, oh my God, he took $30,000 of my money. They don't just credit you $30,000.
I don't think so.
We're sorry. Here's $30,000.
But you know what? There's only one way to find out, Mark. Let's go. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But I know it's insured. I know that it's federally backed money. But that's if the bank is robbed.
Exactly. I don't think that stands for personal accounts. But, it's interesting because he made a run for his life. So that to me doesn't sound like the actions of a man who's in on it. But you know who would know that you had $30,000 that you embezzled into your account? Maybe the secretary of your business, yes, who you've also been having some pillow talk with, perhaps?
Yeah, and the fact of the matter, he did have a relationship with this woman.
Yeah.
Whoops. Oh, sorry. And there seems to be a lot of things that you dug out that I thought was kind of interesting. So the secretary has never, they keep talking about the possibility that there are other people that it could be connected to. And you found that the secretary's son was really angry about this relationship between Roger and the secretary.
Right, supposedly. Yeah, he was pretty angry about it. But they still haven't been ruled out. Apparently, the police, like, to this day, have narrowed it down to 6 people, but they have all refused to give their DNA. But there was DNA from inside the ski mask, which was left there. But you'd think that's kind of where this story ends, and no, it doesn't. It takes a whole different turn.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing with the secretary kind of left me kind of... I mean, did they ever, I wonder, explain... The secretary abruptly left after the killing. Left town. And it's just... Did she ever explain why? Like, it just seems really shady to me that she would just leave. I also think that the amount of money we're talking about, do you think it's just one of these things where it just got out of hand? So we're not talking about enough money to really kill somebody in the event that we're talking about. I mean, these are people who seem like they had money to begin with.
From what I saw, I definitely think they have money. They kept talking about it was like the ritziest neighborhood. But from what I read on like theories and stuff on Reddit was that maybe when he shot the banister, maybe he wasn't on it, but when he shot the banister, it nicked him. So you can't exactly go take $30,000 off with like a bleeding wound either. And so they're thinking maybe that's when Roger decided to flee because Roger's like, oh, that wasn't in the script. And then the guy was like, he's bleeding and running out in the street. So then he shot him 5 more times. I don't know. And I'm sure as far as like the secretary leaving, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that the police are not telling the newspaper, therefore are not telling me, you know? So I don't know if they've interviewed her or what. I couldn't find a name, but she's not like charged with anything. It's just all interesting information that's out there.
It's very crazy that he also, how he died in the front and all that kind of stuff. It just seemed like it really was something that just went wrong. Like things just did not go as planned.
Yeah, it was not a smooth operation by any stretch of the imagination. So they're kind of like living their life. DJ's son and parents died a little before all of this had happened. But, they're kind of, her and her daughter Tammy are just picking up and moving on with their life. So 5 years later, in 1990, they receive a letter claiming to be from the man who killed Roger. And the man demands $100,000.
Right.
He says he's going to kill Tammy if they don't give him the money. And he's like, everybody else in your family's dead. Don't make Tammy dead, too. It's so messed up.
It is so messed up. And it was one of these things where the story just took on another existence. How much time went by before
5 years.
5 years. I mean, just imagine you're finally getting over all of this kind of nonsense. Then the guy hits you up for more than 3 times what the original amount was.
Exactly. And I've seen differing reports about how the police think that it wasn't actually the same guy that killed them. It was probably just an opportunist, trying to demand money. But basically, they're given round-the-clock protection. Their phones are bugged, everything. And the guy says, I want you to make a drop of the $100,000 this time in this place.
Now, do you think they really do this for everyone?
No. I think this was a white privilege, out the yang kind of situation. Because the second that they get a threat, her and her daughter are given round-the-clock protection.
Now, I'm wondering also, all right, we know that he was an informant at some time. I mean, is it possible they stepped in because they think that this might be linked to somebody he might have ratted out?
I mean, it's definitely possible. This guy did have some enemies.
Yeah, I mean, definitely seemed like, they really portrayed him as like this kind of sweet guy almost. Sort of sweet, not really. But, and they really left out that whole prostitution part. Yeah,
and it's not a good look to be painting your victim, with such a brush. So, sorry, we I guess we do that for them. But
we're just talking about the evidence that exists. We're not really, we're not judging anyone.
Oh, no, yeah, do your thing. But so Tammy, this little old DJ goes and she makes the money drop, but the money was never picked up. And they keep getting threatening phone calls, so... All we really know is that the suspect was white and approximately 6 feet tall. The police say that they think that the letters are written by a man and a woman working together, which I don't know what that means, but that's the end. I think it's pretty ballsy to go on TV and talk about it, like, while it's ongoing.
Yeah. It just, the whole thing, it sounds just kind of made up because it really did just kind of end. Like, there wasn't really any resolution.
Nope, not at all. Tammy's 57, living her best life, looks gorgeous on Facebook. DJ is now an 84-year-old woman, just doing her thing.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
I know, right? Yeah, so I don't know what happened, but they think that it was probably like a family friend who was close and knew that they were going through a vulnerable time that decided to extort $100,000. So with friends like these, am I right?
Yeah. So our next story is about an update.
Yeah.
I did not see the previous story, but they do kind of recap us.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I think we should do like we do with all of our update-only stories where we kind of breeze past it, and when it's time to do that story, we'll do it more in depth.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Just for the interest of time, because we still got a lot of this episode to go.
Yes.
So, it's 1990, Henderson, Nevada. Police enter the home of Joe Weldon Smith. Now, it's a rental home owned by Frank Allen, who was actually renting his home out to Joe Smith. And he went to go just do like a after they moved out inspection. So this old guy, he's like 71 years old. He's walking along, and Joe jumps out of the closet and chases him around with a hammer. So he's chasing him all through the house. Frank, this poor little old guy, had no time to even like unlock the door because he deadbolted it behind him. So he hops out of a window.
Oh my God.
Yeah, shatters it, runs to the security because it's like a gated community.
Yeah.
And he runs to the security. They call the cops. So the cops come inside and they see somebody obviously hiding under a sheet. And they're like, Joe, we know it's you. Come out, come out. And so they go and like kick it a little bit and they take it over. And it is the body of one of the bodies of his two stepdaughters who he killed, ages 12 and age 20.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he had also killed his wife. All three of them have been strangled and bludgeoned with a hammer.
I mean, how does this like, what do you get? I mean, were they all found together?
I think two were in one room, and I think the daughters were in one room, and I think the wife was in the master bedroom.
It's just like, get out of the house.
It's so sad. It's so tragic. So maybe they were sleeping, you know?
Oh,
Who
you're
knows?
right, you're right.
But so 2 hours after the murder, Joe calls his wife's daughter-in-law and says, I didn't do it. You know who did it? My landlord, Frank, 71-year-old Frank. So don't worry about him. I'm going to kill him to avenge my wife and stepdaughters. So they're like, okay. He was charged with actually 3 counts of first-degree murder, and they think that he called the family just to kind of start covering his ass a little bit. So minutes after they aired the first broadcast, because he was on the run, they couldn't find him anywhere. An anonymous tipster called in to say that he was living in a motel in Los Angeles, but by the time that he got there, he had already left. So he was found and arrested at another motel that we get to see a little perp walk.
Yeah.
And they found multiple IDs on him, including one that he was working for Southern California Edison, which is a light company. So I guess they don't do their background checks down there.
And you found the house, which is really a very nice house.
It was so fancy. It was not what I was expecting. I don't know why, but he is currently on death row in Nevada. He is sentenced to death for the murder of both the girls. He's sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his wife, and he is sentenced to an additional 20 years for the attack on his landlord. So he is not getting out of jail. No.
And, it's one of those things where I'm really glad to see that. I'm really anxious to run into the original story, though. Associate, connect all the dots from this point. But yeah, it's a little bit hard to go backwards.
Exactly. And they give us, 2 minutes of airtime about it. And so why take 20 minutes of podcast time about it? But
this next story is one of, I thought it was the most entertaining out of all of them. And it really enraged me. I don't know. It got me really mad at this girl.
Oh, let's talk about it.
I just think, it's basically this Liza Montgomery. She comes into town in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's December of 1990. She's always wearing this kind of fur coat, and she's driving around in a Mustang. And
it's like a floor-length mink coat.
Yes. She goes and she's kind of basically passing fake cashier checks everywhere.
Yeah.
And cashier checks are one of those things that it always makes me very nervous whenever I'm dealing with cashier's checks, because anybody could fake these things. I mean, nowadays, of course, you can just do a quick call. Even then, I don't know why you wouldn't make a quick call, but it's easy these days to kind of confirm this stuff, but there's still scams out there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like American Express cashier's checks. I mean, if you're going over like going to Spain or Italy, you grab, maybe $1,000 of those and you go there and it's just as good as cash. I guess, there must be out there counterfeit American Express cashier's checks.
Oh, yeah.
And people just take them like they're cash, and it's just crazy to me. And this is basically the scam that she was doing back then. She bought another mink coat, jewelry, and she's just basically, she looks the part. She's a total professional scammer. She's pulling up in a relatively nice car, and she's wearing the mink. Yeah, I mean, you don't question somebody who looks like they're part of society, I guess.
And she's got, she's just very put together. And they even said, she presented herself very well. Her hair's always done. Nails always done. She had the mink coat. I mean, I thought she was fabulous. But, I mean, you can't be doing this to people. So we're talking everywhere she stops, she's spending, 5 digits on stuff.
Right.
And, yeah.
No, go on.
Well, no, I was just going to say that they said that she scammed about 9 stores, totaling over $100,000 in fraud with these bad checks.
That is a good scam, though. I mean, think about it. People are just taking you for your word for the most part.
I know, yeah. I mean, I guess it pays to be a lady.
And that's another thing, all right. Even back then, you write a check and people are kind of giving you a funny look about it if it's more than a certain amount of money. But a cashier's check is a whole different thing. I guess it's less common. It was just kind of crazy. But my favorite part was when she went to go buy furniture.
Oh my God, this was so crazy. Please, I'm dying for you to explain it.
Well, she had to rent a moving van, right? Like a U-Haul type of thing.
Yeah, they said it was like a dirty, broken down old moving van. And she's in this fabulous, dressed to the nines.
And I wonder if it's more like she was hiring, it was probably her van. It's probably her partner's van. That's what I was thinking.
They rented it.
Oh, they definitely? Yeah, that's right. Yes. You could say the ID. And that's another thing. You pointed out they should never have rented it to her in the first place because it's not even a driver's license that she's offering.
Yeah, we see her ID, and it's just one of those state IDs, and it says specifically this is not a driver's license. Yet they rent 2 cars out to her.
Do you think she just would smile and people would just go, "Oh, she's not going this. She's an angel. She wouldn't be lying to us."
I think you're right.
And I think that definitely she'll flirt with the guy, and next thing you know, he's like, "Oh, all right, just make sure you don't do anything wrong."
I think you're exactly right.
And men are stupid, so they basically go and they start filling up this truck with $23,000 worth of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, I mean, it's ridiculous the amount. And she's like, "I don't care how you get in there, just get it in there."
She's like, "Just toss it in. I don't care." They described her as being belligerent.
Which, of course, thankfully kind of triggered a little bit of suspicion from the furniture salesman, who's like, I don't know. If I was a furniture salesman, I would probably just be counting my commission. And then
I don't get paid enough for this.
Right. And then I would think, all right, well, then again, he loses all the commission if it's a scam, I'm assuming.
I guess, but I mean,
there's insurance, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was his store.
I kind of got that vibe because his wife works at the store. So this guy, what does he do?
Oh my God, he does what you would do. He pulls out his walkie-talkie from 1990, and yes, they had Motorola walkie-talkies that would go several miles, actually. But this was like a 1980s one. This was ridiculous. He hops in his car and he's following, he's tailing her.
Yeah, and the whole time he's talking with his wife on the other end of the walkie-talkie, and he's like, "She just turned down this way." Over.
Now, I'm probably a big whip antenna out the window. He's driving too close. And I bet you were thinking they wouldn't even know I was telling them.
This is so preposterous. I don't know how legal this is to just follow somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's legal at all, but at the same time, how do you prove it?
Well, the cops are endorsing it. The cops are like,
that.
we're a little bit behind you, 10 minutes, 6 if we hurry, and just keep following her, which was crazy.
Yeah, which is weird, because there was one time, I was driving Volkswagen Beetle on the LIE on Long Island, and this big Bronco truck, a Bronco from our last story, came and tried hitting me and running me off the road. This is a long time ago.
God.
Oh, yeah. It's a bright yellow Beetle. It's a different one than I was talking about before. And he and his friend are terrorizing me on the LIE going about 80. So this is like 2000 or something. I did have a cell phone. So I called 911. I'm like, what the hell? I'm slowing down. He's slowing down with me. I'm like, I think this guy's going to like do something. Like, stop right away and get off. There'll be a cop there, blah, blah, blah. It was all about like getting, yourself out of the situation. It wasn't about staying in the situation. Or, and there was a police officer who came, but they probably got away. It's all in good fun. But
sure.
Nobody got hurt. I mean, he could have killed me, but hey, all in good fun. So,
oh my God.
I was very surprised that they're like, yeah, keep on her, and what is she doing now? And it's like, he's heading east.
Yeah, it's almost like they're like, dude, that's badass. Tell us what happened.
Right. It's like, dude, just go back. This is the police's job. Also, This is a big, ugly moving van, right? Why is it that the police can't find it?
I know. Well, funny you should say that, because our little furniture detective guy, he follows her and finds that she swaps vehicles with a guy who's waiting in a red convertible. So they just hop out, run, switch cars, and they take off. So the guy follows after them. They come to an intersection, and that's where our bad guys kind of know that the furniture guy's following them. So the van makes an illegal right turn, and the woman gets out, and she goes to yell at the furniture guy. And she's like, what are you doing? And he almost runs her down. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was expecting him to run her over.
It looked like he was going to, but he's like, oh, now I'm scared of her. So furniture guy, is like, oh, I'm out of here. Almost runs her down. She runs back to the
What would have happened
or whatever.
if he had hit her with his car and all of this came out that she was scamming? I wonder if he would have gotten off.
I don't know. I feel like they would have come back on the cops for telling him to like keep in pursuit of her.
That's true. I thought he was deputized.
Exactly. So now she is chasing furniture guy. So furniture guy is like speeding down this residential street. He pulls over and she just like goes flying past him.
Right.
And they're lost and the cops can't find her. And the one mistake she made was that she did leave her state-issued ID when she went to go rent one of the vehicles. So we have her picture, and they show it on Unsolved Mysteries.
But there is an update.
Yeah.
She got away with it, and I bet you she made a lot of money from this scam and other scams that she probably pulled off.
This was not her first time.
No, she was too good at this to just have this be her first rodeo.
Exactly.
Wow, that mugshot of hers. She needs a haircut.
Well, that's what happens in prison. But she pled guilty to theft. Someone ratted her out for living in Hollywood, California under a different name. But she's kind of been in and out of jail ever since.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a part of her psyche. It's what she knows how to do. And there's really nothing... It just bothered me so much. Like, just stealing so much from these people.
Yeah.
And that poor guy chasing after them.
That poor guy. That guy was stalking her. I did not feel bad for Furniture Guy at all. That was preposterous. But I feel bad for people who get robbed, obviously. But I thought that the whole Furniture Guy was crazy.
Well, you're talking about, like, if it's a $23,000 sale, you're looking at $40 commission.
Exactly.
I'm not, and it was just kind of interesting to me how, I would imagine that there are scams all the time in Las Vegas. And it was just one of those, like, it's not going to happen again to me.
I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right. And you know what? It was the most excitement that guy's ever had. I'm sure he still tells his wife about it all the time. Remember the time we were on the walkie-talkie?
Let's watch the reenactment again, honey.
Exactly.
Probably best friends with the actors.
Oh, I love this.
having them over for dinner and stuff. But all right, so
That's beautiful.
February 4th, 1990, Orlando, Florida. We're getting into the southern territory of the country.
Oh, that's right. I can feel the humidity right now.
Well, February, it's not so bad. 3 days before my birthday.
Oh.
I was, I guess I would be turning 18 that year. Or 17, something like that. So, so two customers, this one is a crazy story. Two customers go into a gas station and they find that there's no one there. Mm-hmm. And they call the police. Probably after, like, having some snowballs or ho-hos or something.
I don't think I would call the police if I walked in and there was no gas station attendant there. I would just be like, ugh, just my luck and storm out.
Oh,
like,
I thought you said you would call the police.
No, I don't think I would.
I'm not really sure. I would probably go in there, and if there was no one there, I know that I would be like, hello.
Mm-hmm. I would just be like, maybe they have diarrhea or something. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't think the worst has happened.
Yeah, I'd look for the camera, I guess, and just steal a lighter or something. No, I would not steal a lighter. So I'm not really sure. I don't think either one of us are busybody enough to want to get so involved.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, basically, so they find out, they call the police, and the police come, and they basically are looking around, and they're saying nothing's out of order. But
yeah, they find her work shirt folded and like put behind the counter, and there's like a carton of chocolate milk and coffee behind the counter on top of a stack of paper, and just her car is in the parking lot. It's locked. Her purse is in there with an uncashed paycheck, by the way. So just interesting stuff. The name of this clerk who's supposed to be there is Deborah Deanne Poe. She's 26 years old.
Yeah, and she just moved to Orlando a few months beforehand, and I don't know, it seemed like she was settling in. You know, she had a friend. I don't know if this was a boyfriend or a friend. It was certainly a boy and a friend, and you know, he would check in on her in the middle of the night, which I think is really nice in a lot of ways. Like, you know,
yes,
it's 3 a.m. I mean, it's
she works. Okay, she works the overnight shift. They said it was from 11 p.m. until 7 a.m. at a gas station, all by herself. And she also works full-time at the local newspaper. So her boyfriend would stop in and check on her, but also she had other friends, like you said, that would kind of come in and check on her, just make sure she's doing all right, because homegirl is working hard. But 2 weeks before she got missing, a naked man hopped over the counter and tried to assault her.
Now, this is an update that you dug up. This was not in the original story. I just want to preface that. They could have added, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. It adds a lot to the story.
Yes.
So I went to thank Sherlock Holmes, a.k.a. Crime Blogger 1983, because I did get some information from him. So the naked guy hops over the counter, attempts to assault her. She runs outside, runs around the gas pumps. He is still following her, and she's able to lose him enough that she can get back inside and lock the door. So ever since that, her boyfriend was like, I'm going to check on you like every 4 hours. He actually worked there with her several nights, just sitting there.
Which is so nice.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
We all need a friend like that sometimes.
Yeah, and she was like, you don't need to stay with me all the time. Like, I'm a grown woman. I can handle my stuff. There's no sense in both of us being tired. So, like, the 3 days before she went missing is when he stopped being there all the time, but he would still check on her periodically. So her friend visited her, and we know for a fact that she served customers until at least 3:05 a.m. When her friend comes back to chat with her and do a check on her at around 3:50 a.m., they couldn't find her, and the friend is the guy who called the police.
No, there's no surveillance footage of this, right?
No, not at all.
But I'm pretty sure they had surveillance footage back then. I mean, not of this, but I mean, in gas stations and 24-hour type of places.
I mean, it's 1990. One would hope, but you know, even if they did have one, it might not be pointed at the counter. It might be pointed at the gas tanks or at the candy aisle or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Candy aisle.
I don't know.
Put down those Twizzlers.
That's what I steal. So we find out that actually a lot of young women who work the overnight at gas stations in Florida during this time go missing. In August 1989, 29-year-old Donna Callahan, who was 3 months pregnant at the time, disappeared while working the graveyard shift in Gulf Breeze, Florida. In September of 1989, 36-year-old Darlene Messer was abducted from a convenience store in Lake City, and her body was found in a creek 2 days later. So 3 days after Deborah Poe's abduction, a woman comes forward, she was amazing, to say that she was in the convenience store at 3:30 a.m. Mm-hmm. Now, there was a man behind the counter, and this guy in all the stories is kind of referred to as Megadeth Man. He's this large guy with long hair. He's got like a cross earring, a Megadeth t-shirt.
I loved your reference, your pop culture references to who he looked like.
Yeah, she describes him as basically Nick from Family Ties. Like, just picture Nick from Family Ties, and that's the reenactor. And she's like, he's got a skull ring and an earring.
He looked like Buddy Revell from 3 O'Clock High, if you've ever seen that.
I don't know that reference, no.
But it's basically Nick from Family Ties. Yeah.
Well, I think that maybe ties into, like, satanic panic of the 80s and 90s, like metal panic. Like, oh my God, he was a Megadeth fan.
Right,
right.
Like,
he had to have done it. So
let me just preface, Megadeth is, they were more of a political band, or are a political band. They're a very good band, but actually they wrote a lot of songs about like alien abductions and all types of New World Order type of things. They were never like on that realm of satanic stuff. Just want to clear the air on 80s and 90s metal. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. No, sorry, my bad. So she says that he was behind the counter and she wanted to get cigarettes. And I don't know if this is accurate or not, but
she was flirting with him.
Yes, she was. She was like,
"What's up, big fella?"
Yeah, exactly. And she's like giving him the eyeball up and down, like, "What are you doing later?" And he's like, "You shouldn't smoke, you know." And she's like, "Okay, whatever." And so Megadeth Man is considered kind of a suspect. Like, they just want to talk to him. Now, here's the thing. He supposedly has a big black van that is airbrushed with Megadeth on the side of it.
Nice.
Yeah, very 1990s.
Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah, so why can't police find this guy? He seems like a very easy guy to find.
I mean, that's... the whole thing with the Megadeth thing was so strange to me. I was like, I couldn't believe that they actually showed the name and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's really weird because a lot of people on message boards, Reddit, blah, 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 they all really quickly excuse Megadeth Man. They're saying, we don't think he was the killer. We think he was like a stoner who just hopped behind the counter, maybe see if he could rob it since nobody was there.
Which is totally possible.
Yeah, but
not likely.
And he's ringing up customers. Like, that's crazy.
I always wanted to work at a gas station.
Exactly. Now he's living his dream, but they can't find him anywhere. So we get kind of an update, but really not really, because we find out that William Alex Wells confessed to killing Donna Callahan. So not Deborah Poe, but Donna Callahan. And he actually led police to her body. Now, he implicated his half-brother, Mark Ritchie, and they're both serving life sentences. But Deborah Poe is still missing. Now, a little other thing I dug up was in March of 2002, police stated that they had a suspect, but they would not identify him publicly. So one of the policemen during a press conference let it slip that they're going to search an area that the suspect lived nearby. So they end up searching and digging in an area near the Chapel Hill Baptist Church. Interesting fact about the Chapel Hill Baptist Church is that is right where her boyfriend used to live. Scott. And he used to actually preach at that church, too. So we're thinking that the policeman maybe kind of let it slip that they were looking at Scott as a suspect.
Right.
Now, dogs detected the scent of human remains, but failed to turn up anything.
This freaks me out every time. It comes up so often when we talk about these episodes where, oh yeah, we smell dead humans, but is there that much of a dead human odor going on in the world where that doesn't...
In Orlando, maybe.
But that doesn't just kind of strike a chord and call for a bigger investigation?
I mean, one would think so, but I'm sure, it's not an exact science when you're dealing with dogs. And a lot of times, like, we dealt with this with Stiffen and Tiflin, Jody Husentruitt, where they said that a body had been there, but there is no body there now. So that's kind of interesting. And it was 12 years after her disappearance that police looked in this area. So Deborah was legally declared dead, sadly, in 1998. No one's seen or heard from her since. And Scott now lives in Campbellsville, Kentucky.
Now, before you talk about this final, how he ended up and who he married and all that, this creeped me out to no end. I don't know why. Yeah. Maybe for obvious reasons it creeped me out. But you have a girlfriend who died or vanished or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's legally declared dead, so I think you could say died.
Yes, and so I'm sorry, if you could just go on.
Please.
I just think it's amazing and it's creepy and it just makes me scared of Scott a little bit.
He is now married to a woman named Deborah.
Ding.
So creepy. And you know what this reminds me of is talk about allegedlys and stuff. But remember that guy Keith who was suspected in the disappearance of Tammy Lynn Leppert? He married a woman named Terry Lynn right after. Like, ooh, it's creepy. What does that say about you psychologically? And of course these are all allegedly fan fiction, whatever you want to call it. But
it's funny. I was watching this with Betsy, and I go, if I killed you or something, I don't think I would seek out another Betsy. Like, I
don't know, because people are trapped in psychological cycles, even if they're unhealthy and they bring people pain. Like, you might want to marry somebody named Betsy on a psychological level because you're trying to do the whole thing over again and do it right this time, or maybe do it wrong again this time because that's what's comfortable to you.
Is there a correlation, do you think, between the name and taking a trophy that we see people taking very often? Maybe you're not able to take a trophy, but what you can do is take the name.
I mean, I'm not going to outright say but yeah. I think, yes.
We're not saying Scott's guilty. Weird. We're not saying that he didn't just meet this Deborah too, and, and it's very possible. It's completely 100% fine, and most likely it is. It's just, I tend to think coincidences are just very, it's too uncommon to be just a regular coincidence, but coincidences do happen, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all we can say. I totally agree with you.
Does Sherlock Holmes have a website or something you could cite to thank him so much for this information that he was able to provide the show?
Let me pull it up. So it's crimeblogger1983.blogspot.com. And if you have missing person stories, like he has a lot of lesser known missing person stories where he will interview people close to the situation. With the Tammy Lynn Leppert situation, I used some information from Sherlock Holmes. He mapped out Google Maps of the different scenarios for how long it would have taken suspects to drive from here to here or here to there. He has a wealth of information, and I think that he's a really good amateur sleuth. So I would recommend checking him out because he does a lot of good work.
Yeah, I mean, if you happen to be listening, I can't thank him enough for providing this information to the public and to further your investigation. And we, of course, we'll put a link to that in the show notes. And if you have if he ever wants to reach out to us, if he ever wants to make a correction or an update, you just reach out to us. It's easy.
Yeah, he'll find it. He's good. He'll find it.
Boy. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like he doesn't even need our names or anything. He'll just call my phone probably. Jeez. But Kim, as always, thank you so much for getting together.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing and leave us a review. It would be really great. It means a lot in the whole algorithmic world that we live in.
Yeah, it helps us get found. And also, if you want to check us out at Unsolved Mysteries Rewind, we will post links to our favorite amateur sleuths. We post pictures that we talk about for the episode, and we just have fun conversations there. Do you believe in past lives? Do you not? Hop on Facebook. Let us know.
Tonight, we have been confronted with an entire catalog of unexplained and unsolved events. Tune in next time as Unsolved Mysteries Rewind discusses another collection of unsolved mysteries. Until then, we can only look and wonder.